Hi YouTube, welcome to MA Academy Python for Penetration Testers tutorial series. In this tutorial, I will show you guys how to use the conditional statements in our script. So the script that we have been working on previously, it was kind of good, but it wasn't complete. So what was the problem with it? Now let me quickly go over this script in here. So in case you haven't watched my previous tutorials, I will quickly go over the script, but still, if you don't understand it, don't worry, watch my previous tutorials and it will all make sense. So it was this one in here. So we import these two submodules, or these two modules in here. Then this function, it takes the input, it parses it, we add these two options, and then we return it. And in here we have this function that takes in the interface and the new MAC address, and then it runs these three commands in here. And in here we are saying that the values and keys is equal to input underscore value. So whatever this function returns, we are saving it to values and keys. Values will be the MAC address and the interface name, and keys will be the dash dash interface and dash dash MAC arguments. So in here we are calling this MAC function, and then we are passing this interface name and also the MAC. So what if, so in here, let me quickly do this ifconfig eth0, so you can see that currently this is my MAC address. Now if I do a python MAC changer 6 in here and help, so it should show us the help file. It says you can type in I for the interface and M for the MAC address. So if we run this in here and we say I is eth0 and M is 001122 and then 111111, press enter, you can see that it says that the MAC address has changed. So if I do an ifconfig eth0 in here, you can see that our MAC address has changed. But what if a person does something like this? So instead of typing this, what if the user just types in eth0 and not that? So in here you can see that we get this error, trace back most recent call lost, then MAC changer line 23 change MAC, and then it's also something like this. So type error must be str, not non-type. So this is kind of it doesn't make any sense for a person who doesn't have any idea of scripting or Python programming language. So what you want is, we want a clear message telling the user what the user is missing. Is he or she missing the MAC address or the interface name? So that is what we have to show. So how do we do that? We can do it using the conditional statements or if else statements. So let me quickly make a copy of it. So let's work on this one. And so in here, this is the script that I copied, and in this one I will be adding the if else statements. Now the first function in here, it takes the input. So what we can do in here is that instead of returning it, we are saying that save it just like we have in here. So we are saying it, save it in values and keys. So let's do the same thing up here as well. So values and keys. So in case you don't know what values and keys means, let me quickly go over this one in here. See. So previously you saw that I ran this script like this. So I said I eth0 and then M, and I did something like this. So let me maximize the screen. So in here, these dash I and then dash M, these are the keys in here. These are the arguments. And what we type, for example, the interface name and the MAC address, these are the values. So this is what this line does. It saves the values to this variable values and the key and the arguments to this keys. So what we want is, we are interested in the values that the user types, right? Now, so we are saying, as you parse these two lines, save the keys to this variable and the values to this variable. So it stores two sets of information, one for the interface name and the other one for the MAC address. So in case, guys, if you don't understand this module, these functions, watch my previous tutorials. In those, I have explained it all in depth. So for this one, in here now, what we can do is that we can start using our if else statements. So how do we do that? So these two lines we don't need, these are commented out. So now in here, let's say that if, and then we are saying not, and then we say values, and values. After that we are checking for, let's say that this time let's check for the interface. So we first say that if not values dot interface. So this dash I and then dash dash interface, you can see that the destination is interface. So in here we are checking that if we don't have the interface set, what we want to do is we want the program to output something and also exit. So it's important for the program to exit. Now we could have do something like this. Please enter interface name. So however, if we do something like this, then it will show the message, but it won't exit or exit out of the script. So what we want to do is that we also want to display this error and also exit out of the program. So for this, again, we have to use the parser. Sorry, not parser. We have to use this opt parse. So this opt parse module, and we have to use the object that we created. So in here you can see that we are parsing it, this reader.parse args. So we use this our object. So we say reader, and for that we are saying error. So display the error. Then let's type in something like this, a negative, to show that there is an error, and let's say please enter the interface name or use the dash dash help option. So what this line in here it does is that it says if the interface value has not been set, what you want to do is that we want to output this error and also exit out of it. So this line, it will print out this line. In here, the reader.error, it will print out this line in case the user hasn't entered the interface name, and also exit. Then we say else if not, again same values. This time we are checking for the MAC. So we are saying if the user hasn't entered the MAC address, so what you do is in here you can see that I'm saying this new MAC, the destination. So if the user doesn't type the MAC address, so what should it do? It should again give this error. So this time we want the same thing. We want to say that please enter the new MAC address or use the dash dash help option. So what it will do is that it will print out this message if the user hasn't entered the MAC address. So in here we are catching both errors. So if the user doesn't enter the interface name, it will output this message, and if the user doesn't type in the MAC address, it will output this message and exit. And at the end, we want to do is we just want to return the values. So we don't need to return the keys in here because we are not using it, right? The keys are just the dash dash interface or dash I or dash dash MAC or dash M. We are only interested in what the user is typing or entering, right? Such as the interface name as the new MAC address. And after that, what we can say is that instead of saying keys, we just use the values. So in here we don't want to store the, since we are only returning the values, so we don't need to we can't use two values, like two variables to store it. So in here, that's why we are only using the values. So let's save it and let's run it. So Python 3 Mac changer 7 dash dash help. So it gives us our help message. Now let's say I type in dash I and then ETH0. So in here, now we get the message. Previously, we saw that it was some gibberish thing that we didn't understand. Now in here, you can see that it says MAC changer error. Please enter the new MAC address or use the dash dash help. Now again, let's do the same thing, and this time let's use the MAC address alone. So let's do something like 112222. So in here, if I press enter, you can see that this time you get the other message. It says please enter the interface name or use the help option. So previously in here we typed in the interface name ETA0, but we didn't specify the MAC address, right? So it says please enter the new MAC address or use the help option. In here we gave the MAC address, but we didn't give the interface name. So this time it's saying please enter the interface name or use the -- help option. So this time we are capturing both of these errors. If the user doesn't enter the interface name or the MAC address, we will display these messages. Now this isn't kind of necessary for the script, but it kind of makes your code look good. So if you are in case you make a script and you give it to a client or someone else, this is kind of makes the script look beautiful and more user-friendly, because previously we saw that that error wouldn't make much of a sense to any other user. Now let's quickly change whether it's working or not. So currently my MAC address is 0011, in here 22, and then again 6 ones. So let's say Python 3 MAC changer 07, and for this one in here, after that let's type in -i ETA0 -m001122, and then the new MAC address of 555555. You can see that it is saying it's changing the MAC address. So let's again look at it. So in here you can see that our MAC address has been changed. So this is it for this tutorial, guys. If you have any questions, suggestions, or recommendations, feel free to put it in the comment section below. And if you found this tutorial useful, make sure to share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one.